The information provided in this communication is for informational purposes only, and does not constitute financial advice. It is important to note that past performance is not indicative of future results. Please consult with a qualified financial advisor to determine the suitability of any investment strategy.
Welcome to this deep dive, and we are going to be cracking open the Orcelus Letter, and this is really a treasure trove of insights.
It is.
From this investment firm called Orcelus.
Yeah.
Now, they are known for a couple things.
Yeah.
One, their long-term strategy, and also this really interesting investment Bible that guides their choices. And get this.
Okay.
They also have a YouTube channel and a podcast just started last year.
All right, wow.
Where they're actually sharing their wisdom with the world.
Interesting.
But today, you are getting an exclusive peek behind the curtain.
Yes.
We're going to learn how they're navigating these crazy global markets, AI's rise, and you might even pick up some actionable investment tips along the way.
That sounds great.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What's fascinating about Orcelus is like their commitment to really understanding a business before like investing a single dollar.
Yeah.
They're not chasing trends.
Right.
They're looking for long-term value.
Okay, so let's jump right into the Orcelus Letter.
Okay.
One of the first things that they highlight is this major upheaval in the AI landscape.
All right.
Specifically coming from this Chinese startup called DeepSeek.
Right. DeepSeek has really shaken things up by offering cheaper and still incredibly intelligent AI models. So they're really like directly challenging OpenAI's dominance.
So interesting.
And the impact is already being felt on the U.S. stock market.
Oh, wow.
This signals a potential shift in the balance of power in the tech world.
Yeah.
With China's influence growing rapidly.
I mean, it makes you wonder how this will impact the technology we use every single day.
Right.
I mean, AI is already in our phones and our apps, even our cars.
For sure.
But, this competition could mean even faster innovation, maybe even lower prices for consumers.
That would be great.
So Orcelus is definitely watching this as a significant trend.
Yeah.
They also mentioned this recent trip to Shanghai and Seoul back in March.
Yes. Orcelus went on this fact-finding mission to Asia, not just to explore new investment opportunities, but also to check on existing ones.
Yeah.
They wanted to get like a feel for these dynamic markets firsthand.
I'm dying to know what they discovered on their Asian adventures, but
Yeah.
let's switch gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about those rocky market conditions we saw early in 2025, geopolitical tensions, trade disputes, volatility. It was a wild ride.
It was.
Orcelus really points to Trump's re-escalation of trade tensions with China, Mexico, and Canada as a major source of uncertainty.
Yeah, Orcelus notes that Trump imposed new tariffs on goods from these countries.
Right.
Which led to, fears of a full-blown trade war.
Yeah.
And these aren't just abstract political maneuvers.
Right.
These tariffs directly impact the prices of products we buy every day.
Yeah.
It's that classic pass the cost along to the consumer scenario.
Okay, so how did Orcelus navigate these turbulent waters? Because I know a lot of people felt like they were just holding on for dear life when the market got choppy.
Well, Orcelus emphasized their unique approach to managing risk in the face of this global uncertainty.
Okay.
And what's interesting is they saw a distinction between how Canada and Mexico were reacting to the tariffs.
Oh, okay.
Compared to China.
So Canada and Mexico temporarily hit the pause button on a retaliatory tariffs.
Right.
Giving time for renegotiations. And Orcelus anticipates that Trump, with his business background, will leverage that to his advantage.
I see.
But China seems to be playing a different game.
Exactly. The Orcelus letter suggests that the U.S.-China trade tensions, fueled by national security concerns on both sides, are pointing toward a much longer, more complex conflict.
Okay.
This could have a ripple effect, potentially reshaping global supply chains.
Wow.
And having a significant impact on specific industries, especially the tech industry.
Speaking of tech, let's circle back to AI.
Yeah.
The Orcelus letter takes us on a little history tour from John McCarthy, coining the term artificial intelligence, to Alan Turing's code-breaking machine in World War II. They even give a nod to Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
Which, let's be honest, got us all dreaming of hoverboards and self-lacing shoes.
Absolutely.
And from those early visions of AI, we saw the first smartphone hit the scene in 1994.
Right.
Series debut in 2011. It's been an incredible evolution.
It has.
But what Orcelus really emphasizes is that AI is no longer just this futuristic concept.
Right.
It's here and now, woven into our lives in ways we couldn't have imagined even a few years ago.
Think about it. We've got self-driving cars, changing how we get around image recognition systems,
Wow.
helping the visually impaired navigate the world. It's mind-blowing.
It's so true.
What's fascinating is how AI is progressing beyond simply doing tasks
Yeah.
to actually augmenting human abilities. It's not about replacing humans.
Right.
It's about working together to solve real-world problems.
Yeah.
And that shift is at the heart of what Orcelus sees as the potential of AI.
I love that. Okay. But let's get back to Orcelus and their distinct investment philosophy. They're not chasing after the latest hot stock
Right.
or jumping on the bandwagon of a trending industry.
No.
They prioritize truly understanding a business before investing a dime,
Yeah.
focusing on long-term value over those quick profits.
It's a very disciplined approach, and that's further reflected in their strong ethical compass,
Okay.
which is clearly a driving force behind their investment decisions.
Interesting.
They're not just chasing financial returns.
Right.
They're looking for companies that align with their values.
Okay. That brings us to a rather surprising revelation in the Orcelus letter, their perspective on debt.
Oh, yeah.
They actually challenge the common belief that being debt-free is always a sign of strength,
Right.
arguing that manageable debt can actually put a business in a better position
Interesting.
for growth and innovation.
Bold statement.
I know.
It is. They even back it up with some compelling examples,
Yeah.
pointing to the struggles of companies like General Motors and Kodak.
Right.
Orcelus suggests that their lack of debt might have contributed to a kind of complacency
Okay.
that ultimately hurt them.
So interesting.
They believe that a little bit of pressure can be a good thing,
Right.
pushing companies to innovate and adapt.
It's like the old saying, necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. AI, global markets, trade wars,
A lot.
even Orcelus's unique investment philosophy.
Right.
But there's one more thing we need to talk about before we wrap up.
Okay.
This part of our deep dive, their decision to share their knowledge with the world.
Right. They launched their YouTube channel and podcast, I believe, towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
Initially as a way to connect with their family and shareholders,
Yeah.
but it's grown into something much bigger,
Wow.
a platform to empower others to make more informed investment decisions.
It's like they're saying, we've learned a lot over the years, and we want to pass on that knowledge.
Totally.
And that aligns perfectly with what we're doing here on the deep dive.
I agree.
We're taking their insights, breaking them down, and making them accessible to you.
Absolutely.
But you know what? I have a feeling there's even more to uncover in the Orcelus letter.
I think you're right. There's so much depth to their analysis and worldview. I'm eager to dive back in and see what other gems we can unearth.
Me too. Let's do it. You know, one of the things that really piqued my curiosity in the Orcelus letter
Yeah.
was their account of their trip to Shanghai and Seoul.
Right.
They mentioned exploring these new investment opportunities
Mm.
and checking on existing ones.
Yeah, what's interesting about their Asian adventures is that it wasn't just a typical business trip.
Right.
They were really trying to immerse themselves
Okay.
in those markets to understand the forces driving growth and innovation firsthand.
Orcelus even highlighted this one specific investment in China
Oh.
that initially faced some serious headwinds,
Okay.
but is now showing strong signs of recovery.
Interesting.
They said its valuation is almost back to where it was 5 years ago before this major downturn.
Wow, so like a real comeback story.
Yeah, it really is.
They were intentionally vague about the specifics of the company,
Okay.
but they really emphasized their belief in its fundamental strength and future prospects.
Right.
What struck me was that they mentioned that the company had lost almost its entire board
Oh, wow.
within the last 3 years.
That's a pretty significant shakeup.
It is
You'd think that would be a huge red flag for most investors, but
great.
Orcelus clearly saw something others didn't, and it seems their faith has paid off.
Yeah.
They mentioned that this company is now a top 5 market holder in China
Wow.
for the first time in its history.
To clarify for our listeners, market holder in this context likely refers to market share.
Okay.
So this company now controls a significant portion of its target market in China.
Wow.
Orcelus even projected that this company could hit $2 billion in revenue by 2027.
That's incredible.
It is pretty impressive.
It really speaks to their long-term vision and their willingness to stick with a company, even
yeah.
when the going gets tough.
Yeah.
It reinforces their philosophy of really understanding the businesses you invest in.
Absolutely. It's not just about chasing the hottest stock or jumping on the latest industry trend.
Right?
It's about doing your due diligence, understanding the underlying business, and having conviction in its long-term potential.
In their letter, they point out that every single investment in their portfolio
Wow,
has shown a commitment to returning value to its shareholders over the past 12 months.
that's great.
They specifically highlight the consistent distribution of dividends,
Okay.
both in their half-year and full-year financial reports.
Now, for those who might not be familiar with dividends,
Yeah.
these are essentially payments made by a company to its shareholders,
Okay.
typically out of its profits.
Right.
It's a way for investors to share in the company's success.
I see.
And the fact that all of Orcelus's investments are consistently paying dividends
Right.
suggests that their investment strategy is pretty solid. They're not just picking companies that look good on paper. They're picking companies that are built to last and generate real profits.
I have to admit, it's refreshing to hear about an investment firm that's focused on sustainability,
Yeah,
stability, and long-term value creation,
I agree.
especially in a world where everyone seems obsessed with getting rich quick.
That's one of the most valuable takeaways from the Orcelus letter, in my opinion.
Okay.
They really stress the importance of tuning out the noise.
Yeah.
You know, in today's hyper-connected world, we're constantly bombarded with information.
Oh, yeah.
And it's easy to get caught up in the hype
Totally.
and make impulsive decisions.
It's like trying to drink from a fire hose, right?
It is.
Information overload.
You can't even process it all.
No.
Let alone make sense of it.
And that's where Orcelus's advice to invest in what you understand really resonates.
Yeah.
By focusing on companies or industries that you're already familiar with, you can leverage your existing knowledge and make more informed decisions.
Sure.
You're not relying on speculation or someone else's opinion. You're drawing on your own experience and judgment.
I see it as the key difference between gambling and investing.
Oh, interesting.
Gambling is all about taking a chance, hoping for a lucky break.
Right.
But investing is about making calculated decisions based on research
Okay.
and a deep understanding of the underlying assets.
That makes sense.
And that's exactly how Orcelus operates.
Yeah.
They're not gamblers, they're investors.
Okay.
They're building a portfolio of companies they truly believe in.
Right.
Companies that are creating real value and have the potential for sustainable growth.
Their approach is incredibly inspiring.
It is.
It's a reminder that investing doesn't have to be about chasing the latest trend or trying to time the market perfectly.
Right.
It can be about aligning your investments with your values, finding companies that are making a positive impact, and committing to them for the long haul.
It's about investing with both your head and your heart. You know, in their letter, Orcelus also addressed a question they frequently encounter.
Okay.
Why does their fund take longer to make its first investment
Oh, that's interesting.
compared to other hedge funds?
I mean, time is money, especially in the world of finance. So why would they intentionally slow things down?
Well, their answer highlights a key principle of their approach.
Okay.
They operate with a long-term investment horizon.
So they're not just looking for a quick flip.
Yeah.
They're looking for companies they can partner with for the long term.
Exactly. And to maintain consistency in their decision-making, they actually developed a comprehensive set of guidelines and principles last year, what they call their investment Bible.
Okay, so think of it as like a framework for evaluating potential investments.
Yeah.
Drawing on their years of experience and expertise.
It's almost like a scientific approach to investing,
Wow.
ensuring they're not relying solely on gut feeling or intuition.
That's fascinating. It's a reminder that sometimes the best investments are the ones that take time to develop, the ones where you have to be patient and trust the process.
Right.
Orcelus is playing the long game.
Now, another question that came up in their letter focused on their strong ethical standards.
Okay.
Someone asked how they managed to maintain such high standards,
It's a valid question.
especially in an industry that isn't always known for its ethical behavior.
Right. How do you stay true to your values when it seems like everyone around you is cutting corners?
They explained that they regularly review and update their ethical policies and procedures
Okay.
to ensure they remain relevant and effective in addressing new challenges.
So they're not just setting a code of ethics and then forgetting about it.
Right.
They're constantly evaluating it, making sure it aligns with their values
Yeah.
and helps them navigate the real-world ethical dilemmas they face.
It's a very proactive approach to ethics, which is refreshing.
Totally.
They're not waiting for something to go wrong before they take action.
Right.
They're constantly looking for ways to improve their ethical framework.
It's like they're saying we're not perfect, but we're committed to doing the right thing, and we're willing to put in the work to make sure that happens.
That commitment is truly inspiring. It's a
Yeah.
reminder that ethical behavior is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Yeah, and it's something you have to actively work at, especially in the cutthroat world of finance.
For sure.
But, let's face it, maintaining those high ethical standards can feel like a constraint when you're under pressure to close deals.
Yeah.
So someone asked Orcelus, have they ever considered lowering their standards just to make a deal happen?
Oh, wow.
What was their response?
They were unwavering. They stated that while they might adjust other aspects of their operations, their commitment to ethics and integrity is non-negotiable.
Wow.
They even went so far as to say that their reputation is paramount,
Okay.
and they would never take any action that could jeopardize it.
That's putting your money where your mouth is.
It is.
They're basically saying their ethics are more important than any single investment.
It's a bold statement and incredibly reassuring.
Yeah.
They're not just paying lip service to ethics. They're truly committed to doing the right thing, even when it's difficult.
I love that.
It reinforces the idea that true success isn't just about financial gain.
Right.
It's about building a business. You can be proud of a business that reflects your values
Yeah.
and makes a positive impact on the world.
You know what I find fascinating about Orcelus is how they're challenging conventional wisdom
Right.
and offering this fresh perspective on what it means to be a successful debtless.
I agree.
They're not afraid to question those assumptions
Yeah.
and think differently.
You're right. They're not content with the status quo. They're pushing boundaries and encouraging others to do the same in their letter. They even address this common assumption about business success, that they themselves used to believe that businesses with no debt
Right.
were inherently the strongest.
It seems logical on the surface. I mean, who doesn't want to be debt-free?
Right.
It's a goal many people strive for, both personally and professionally.
You'd think so, right. But Orcelus now believes that a debt-free balance sheet isn't always a sign of strength. In fact, they argue that a business with manageable debt
Wow.
can often be in a superior position.
That's a surprising take. Why would they say that?
Well, they've observed that being completely debt-free can sometimes lead to complacency,
Okay.
which can stifle innovation and growth.
So they're saying being too comfortable can actually be a disadvantage.
Yeah,
It's like the saying smooth seas don't make skilled sailors.
precisely. Sometimes a little bit of pressure, a little bit of debt can be a healthy motivator.
Okay.
It can push companies to be more creative, resourceful, and innovative.
It's the difference between a company coasting on its past success
Right.
and a company that's constantly striving to evolve and improve.
And to illustrate their point, Orcelus points to companies like General Motors and Kodak giants in their industries that ultimately failed to adapt, partly because they were too comfortable with their debt-free positions.
Wow, it's a cautionary tale for any business.
It is.
Just because you're successful today doesn't guarantee success tomorrow.
Right.
The world is constantly changing, and if you're not evolving with it, you risk being left behind.
That's where manageable debt can actually be an asset. You can keep companies on their toes, pushing them to innovate and make those tough decisions necessary for long-term success.
Right.
Orcelus seems to believe that a little bit of stress can be a good thing, helping companies stay focused, motivated, and adaptable. And in today's rapidly changing business landscape, those qualities are more essential than ever.
It's amazing how they're turning conventional wisdom on its head and offering this completely new way of thinking about debt.
I agree.
Their willingness to embrace manageable debt as a tool for growth and innovation really sets them apart.
It speaks to their forward-thinking mindset and their commitment to staying ahead of the curve.
It's so refreshing to see a firm that's not afraid to challenge the status quo and think differently.
I know.
And their decision to share their knowledge so openly through their YouTube channel and podcast is commendable.
It's a testament to their belief in the power of knowledge and their desire to empower others.
It's amazing how Orcelus is so willing to, challenge assumptions and encourage others to think differently.
Yeah.
But, their commitment to sharing their knowledge through their YouTube channel and podcast is something we haven't fully explored yet.
It's pretty unusual for a firm like Orcelus to be so transparent. Most hedge funds
I know.
are notoriously secretive,
Yeah.
guarding their strategies and insights like they're the crown jewels.
It's so true. It's like they're bucking the trend saying, hey,
Right.
we believe that everyone should have access to this information,
Yeah.
not just a select few.
Their decision to launch a YouTube channel and podcast really suggests that they're not just focused on making money.
Right.
They genuinely seem to want to educate and empower others.
It reminds me of our mission here at the Deep Dive to make complex information accessible and engaging for everyone. It's all about democratizing knowledge.
Exactly. Orcelus is providing these valuable insights and perspectives
Yeah.
that you wouldn't normally find in mainstream financial media.
Right.
It's like getting a peek behind the curtain to see how a successful investment firm operates.
Right.
Learning from their experiences and applying their principles to your own financial decisions.
And they do it in such a clear and engaging way.
Yeah.
It's like they're having a conversation with you,
Right.
not talking down to you or bombarding you with jargon.
They strike a great balance between depth and accessibility,
Yeah.
providing rigorous analysis without sacrificing clarity or entertainment value.
You know, for our listeners who want to delve deeper into Orcelus's world and their investment philosophy,
Yeah,
I highly recommend checking out their YouTube channel and podcast.
and I agree.
They offer a wealth of knowledge presented in a way that's both informative and entertaining.
It's a fantastic way to expand your understanding of the investment landscape.
Oh.
Learn from seasoned professionals and start thinking more critically about your own financial decisions.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Okay.
as we wrap up this deep dive into the Orcelus Letter, it's been an incredible journey filled with insightful observations and thought-provoking ideas.
I agree. We've explored their unique investment philosophy, their global perspective, their commitment to ethical practices, and their willingness to challenge that conventional wisdom.
You know, Orcelus reminds us that true success isn't just about financial gain.
Right.
It's about aligning your actions with your values, making informed decisions, and focusing on long-term growth and sustainability.
So well said. And they believe in investing in what you understand.
Yeah,
So as we leave you with this final thought, what's an industry or company that you know well?
right.
How might Orcelus's philosophy apply to it? That's something to ponder as we conclude this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Great advice. Thanks for listening, everyone.